Most people won't even touch these. Look at that mess of carburetors in there. Holy cow. Look at that. You can't even hardly get this thing out, let alone work on it. And if you think getting it out's fun, wait till you try and get it back in. Absolute nightmare of a carburetor on these. This is a VF750C. It's 1986. V4 dual overhead cam, liquid cooled. Nice bike, you know, when they're running great. These are silky smooth, they shift great. All these old bikes are so complicated. Look at that, they actually ran the coolant. Look, you got a radiator here, and they ran the coolant in the frame tube. Why would you run the coolant in the frame tube? Oh my goodness, look at this. It's got a little shut-off valve. So we're going to pull the carburetors, or the radiator forward, get the carburetors off. My God, what a mess. So they had the Magnas, the Sabre. They were labeled V45, V30, V65, and each number referenced cubic inches for the mainly American market they were trying to cater to capture the cruiser market, which was predominantly held by Harley Davidson at the time. So these bikes came out. They were a valiant attempt at, you know, breaking into the cruiser market back then. Hence there was tariffs back in the day. There we go, one set of carbs off the bike. Holy cow. Man, I forgot what a pain in the butt these things were. I haven't worked on one of these for, I don't know, years. And I remember why now. My God, everything's so cramped in there. This stinky little radiator. That's supposed to cool this big motor. Little, I don't know. About the size of a bread pan. So these things had heating issues too. The radiators were too small, and if you get in hot traffic, they would just, you know, they would just cook. They would just cook. I mean, you got this big V4 engine with a little radiator about this wide on it, and you know, I don't know what it holds, probably 2 liters of coolant, and a little dinky fan that turned on way too late. And so, and if you're working on these things, and you get in here, and there's aftermarket Chinese jets and whatnot in here, especially these needles and seats, just run away. If you don't have the stock parts, it's going to be just a nightmare to try and get this thing running right. And these things, be aware that the main jets right here, 95 and 98, are different front to rear carburetors. So be aware of that and put it together properly. This pilot jet was just kind of sitting in there just like that while I took it apart. So hardly shocking it didn't run right, or if at all. I couldn't get it fired up. It was trying to burble and fire up, but it wouldn't go. So they're survivors in one sense, but in another sense they're greatly diminished because a lot of the seals dry out. You know, carburetor bits, you got a lot of ethanol in the fuel these days, and the ethanol, it really isn't friendly to antique motorcycles and cars and the like. I don't know what the horsepower was on these, but surprisingly when you wick the throttle, I mean, it scatters, it gets up and goes. Probably a little too much than it ought to, because it has a very long, lanky front end, and it didn't lend itself well to handling, plus the frame, the geometry, the suspension was a little lacking, and these things killed a lot of people, especially the bigger model, the V45 Magna and the V65 Sabre. Things to chew on, keep in mind, and I'll catch you again and do another video on something, whatever rolls in the shop. And have a good night, morning, wherever you are in the world. Take care. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Cheers.